Good afternoon, everyone. Today we are going to start consumer behavior, and the course code is 001. It falls in semester 3. So as the subject suggests, in this paper we'll study the behavior, the approach of a consumer. Consumer is somebody who consumes the product and services. So in this subject we'll talk about that. So moving ahead, look at this. It has got 4 blocks, and the first block today will start, and it has got 3 units. So we'll take one by one. So starting with unit number 1, we'll talk about consumer behavior, nature, scope, models, and application. Now here are the objectives and the structure, how we are going to go about studying this block, this unit. So moving ahead, look at this. First of all, what exactly is consumer behavior? Now, consumer behavior, is a study which talks about individual or groups, or for that matter, an organization, that how they buy, how they use, and the most important thing is the disposal of that goods and services after the usage. It's not only like you go ahead and you buy it and then you use it, but you don't talk about the disposing of that thing. So these 3 factors, the purchase, the usage, and the disposal, will constitute this subject, which is known as consumer behavior. I hope you all understand about the difference between the need, wants, and desires. If not, then I will explain it later on. But moving ahead, look at this, nature of consumer behavior. Now this talks about these subjects. The first line is, it talks about cognition, affect, and behavior. As we grow, as we move ahead with the slides, I will explain these 3 terms. And this consumer behavior subject is heavily borrowed from different subjects, right from sociology to anthropology to economics and so on and so forth. So it is like a collection from other subjects which talks about people who are staying in society, the way they behave, and also their purchasing pattern. In the last line, if you see, it is both art and science. And in fact, it's not only the consumer behavior, but it's the entire subject of management, where it involves both quantitative as well as qualitative approach. So consumer behavior, once we go along with the subjects, we'll be able to understand and discuss all these terms. So moving ahead. Now, this is a basic terminology. Who is a consumer? Is consumer different from customer? I hope by this time you will be aware. If not, then I will explain this thing. Consumer is somebody who consumes the goods and services. It can be an individual, it can be a group, it can be an organization. Whereas customer is somebody who is not necessarily consumes the good or services, but somebody like who is in the process of buying. He can be a consumer also. A customer can be consumer also. A consumer can be a customer also. I buy a thing and then I use it, consume it. I become both customer as well as consumer. But if I buy something, let's say for my mother, so I become the customer and the mother becomes the consumer. So this is the basic definition of a consumer. Okay, we'll move. Now scope. Scope of this subject is immense. We all know that in a market, and the society is a market, everyone is trying to sell something, everyone is trying to buy or consume something. So the scope of this subject is immense. It pervades in every section of the society. It talks about why people buy it, what they buy it, is there any reason, where they buy it. It talks about the occasion, it talks about the frequency, the interval. Or a consumer follows when he has or she has to buy something or to consume something. So this subject has got immense scope. It is prevalent across every part, every section of the society, of the business, of the market. Okay, so moving ahead. Now, if somebody asks you how you make a purchase, I would like you to think, for an example, you want to purchase a pair of jeans. So first thing first is if somebody asks you about the decision process, and this is not only theoretical, this you can use in your own life, your personal life as well. I have no pants left, so I need to buy a new pair of jeans. So there is a need, because buying a jeans is important for me because I have to go in society, I have to go to college, I have to deal with people. So buying a pair of jeans is important. Now I have got the need. Now I would like to understand or see that which are the brand or which kind of jeans I should buy. So the second process is information search. It means I am going to figure out that how many brands are there which are manufacturing jeans. Then once I got the information, let's say I have got 5 brands, right, from Wrangler to Lee to Levi to Mufti and to Flying Machine and Killer and so on and so forth. Now I would evaluate these brands on certain parameters. For me, parameters could be the price because I am a student. I cannot go and buy a customized jeans costing, let's say, 30,000 rupees. I am a student. I need to be economical in my approach. So I will go for something like, which is of 2,000 rupees. Second parameter would be, it should be a brand. So maybe I will zero on, let's say, Mufti, the fitting, the color, so hence and so forth. So the style, the design, maybe a slim fit or regular fit or a boot cut, whatever my preference is. So first step is I have got a need. Second, I will figure out the information that which are the brands available. Third would be evaluation of alternative. It means which brand will suit me the best on the basis of parameters like price, design, color, and then I make a purchase. And once I make a purchase, I start using it. Now, when I use it, then I will develop an opinion that how the product is. As in English today, like the taste of pudding lies in eating. So if I want to see the brand, if I want to see the fit, I need to use it. And after using it for, let's say, a month or 2 months, I will say, my purchase was sensible enough, was judicious enough. But if the brand is good, I have paid a good money, but I'm not liking it. Maybe the color has faded. Maybe the design is not so good or outdated. So I will have a dissonance. Dissonance means what I thought and what I got. The difference between these two is called dissonance. So this is a 5-step process a consumer adopts while making a purchase. I'm sure this is clear. This you can use in your personal life as well. Moving ahead. Now, there are factors. We understood the definition of consumer. We also understood the subject consumer behavior, the nature and scope. We also spoke about the decision-making process. Now, these purchases, because we stay in society, so there are factors which affect our buying behavior. Which are those factors? They are cultural factors, social factors, personal factors, and psychological factors. We'll understand cultural factors. People from North India or people from South India, they have got slightly different culture. So in North India, it's like it's a winter time. People are wearing jackets and jeans. But you go to Chennai, you go to Hyderabad, people are not wearing jackets. Okay, they have got a different approach. They have got different pujas. Okay, we just celebrated in North India and eastern part of India, Makar Sankranti. Now there are states where people celebrate Pongal, Pihu, and so on and so forth. Now, as per my culture, I will make a purchase. If my culture doesn't allow me to wear a jeans, I will avoid wearing jeans. If my culture doesn't allow me to eat, let's say, a particular dish, a non-veg on particular days, I'll avoid that. Social factor, that is very, very important, that what society permits me to do. Because as I said, man or human being is a social animal. Who said this thing? Aristotle, the Greek philosopher. So social factor, what society allows me to do. I cannot say I don't care about society because most of your needs or wants are fulfilled by society. Be it your education, be it your marriage, be it your career. So I should, these factors are important. For an example, if my neighbor has bought, let's say, a 55 inches color LED TV, the part of society is my neighbor. So obviously I will be also impressed to buy one more because my children are telling, my wife is telling. So these factors, they have got influence. But personal factors, my personal factor, I don't want to splurge so much of money, 55 inch TV, let's say 40, 45,000. I don't want to do that. I don't want to copy somebody. My personal choice is not to wear jeans. My personal choice is to wear, let's say, terracotta pant because that's comfortable. That's completely fine with that. So a person who believes into it on his personal choices and prejudices, he gets influenced by those factors. I might say like, no, I'm a great football lover. So whenever I go to purchase a t-shirt, I will buy, let's say, a particular country or a club t-shirt. Whereas somebody else will not be. He would be very much interested in IPL, in Indian cricket team. So they will purchase a t-shirt belonging to Rohit Sharma or somebody from Indian team. So that's completely your choice. Psychological factor, very, very important. What I think about certain things. Now, many people are advocating that you should go vegan. Vegan means you should not eat non-veg food because of certain factors. And I personally feel that yes, it's very true that for my appetite, I should not kill animals. Because the food I eat, that forms my orientation, my thoughts. So these are psychological factors. I can say I am very, very, okay with high pressure work environment. But there are people who are not very much okay with that. They want a easy life, a laid back life. So again, these factors also influences a group of person or an individual to make a purchase. Cultural factor, social factor, personal and psychological factor. Moving ahead. Now there are certain models which will help you to understand that why consumers act in a particular manner. And let me tell you, because if you remember, when we were talking about the nature of this subject, we spoke about a term called cognition. And cognition is something to do with your thinking power. Now, medical science has so far, it is not 100% successful in unearthing the secrets of mind. I think 50%, 60% we understand about mind. So there are certain models which will help you, not in a perfect manner, but yes, they will help you to understand that when a consumer makes a purchase, why he or she does that in that particular way. So the most important model is Howard-Sate model. Now this model uses 4 variables, which you can see on your screen: the inputs, the perceptual learning constructs, the output, and exogenous variables. Exogenous means the external variable. We'll study this later on. The first thing is the input, what you get. Every day, an individual is bombarded by an average 50,000 of messages. Now, what are the messages you are retaining? What are the messages you are grasping? That is the input thing. Now, once you get that thing, you try to have your own opinion on the basis of your learning, what you have learned previously. It can be on the basis of, again, your your culture, your personal factors, your psychological factors. And the output thing, output means like, externally what I'm getting. Output and exogenous variables. Now, we just discussed that we are influenced by these factors. So the message what I got, the input, I'm going to have of understanding on the basis of my learning, which is shaped by my own experience, by my own culture. I will be also be affected by the external variables. Again, the society will become a very important part. So Howard said talks about these are the factors, four variables, which plays a major role, which play a major role in shaping of the consumer mindset, in making a consumer behave in a particular manner. Besides, besides him, there is other two model, which the Angel Collat and Blackwell model and technological acceptance model by Fred Davis. But out of these three, the most important is Howard Sage model. Moving ahead, application of consumer behavior. You might be wondering, sir, fair enough. We understood the subject, we understood the definition, the factors which influences the consumer buying behavior. We also spoke about the models, but where are the usage of this subject? The application of consumer behavior. First thing first, you understand the market opportunity. Okay? You understand what market is offering or which segment of market is or can be your target audience. And once you get that idea, you can decide that which product I should be offering. You're talking about the product mix. Which kind of product I must be offering in order to satisfy the need and wants of that section. And also it's helpful in non-profit and social marketing. Very, very important. So when I talk about the application of consumer behavior is immense. It can be used anywhere and everywhere. If I have to be precise, by these subjects, I can understand the market opportunity, the size of the market. Accordingly, I can offer my product to them. Here we talk about non-profit and social marketing. Non-profit means like the government thing, government medical services. It works on no profit, no loss basis. Social marketing, very, very important. Save environment. Or like, save dogs. So these are the things where social marketing can be applied in order to understand the market, in order to offer your services, your product. And it is, it can be used across every section of society and market. So finally, in this unit, as I said, we spoke about the definition of consumer, the subject consumer behavior, nature and scope. We spoke about the social, the models, the different factors which influence this consumer purchasing behavior. And finally, we spoke about that where this subject can be used. It can be used to analyze market opportunity for social marketing, also to offer my product mix, and so on and so forth. So I hope this first unit give you an idea about this subject called consumer behavior. Moving ahead, we'll talk about we'll go in unit number 2, and we'll talk about consumer behavior and lifestyle marketing. This is very, very important. Here we'll talk about the lifestyle. Here we'll talk about lifestyle. Does lifestyle have any impact on consumer behavior? And in this, we'll also discuss about current a few terminology, few terms like AIO stands for activity, interests and opinions, and VAOs, values and lifestyle, and other things. So this would be the objective and the structure. We'll start with the introduction. Then we will discuss about the different factors like demographic, psychographic, and lifestyle. So moving ahead, look at this. I want you guys to read this thing. When you're talking about lifestyle marketing, it's mentioned over there is a process of establishing relationship between product offers in the market and targeted lifestyle group. First of all, let's understand what exactly is lifestyle. Just a second, just fair enough. We'll talk about lifestyle. Lifestyle means, and it has got various components. It means, in a simpler term, the way you lead your life. It involves your daily habits, your food habits, or anything which is part of your personality and how you go about leading your day-to-day life. That becomes a lifestyle. Now, every individual have a different lifestyle. Every individual has a different lifestyle. Now, on the basis of that, if I am comfortable in reading, let's say, a paper called Times of India or Economic Times, because I have been reading this paper since my childhood days. I know that I know the section on which page I will get a sports, on which page I will get politics. Now, if somebody offers me a different paper that will be completely new to me, I have to understand that which page has which section or which news. So I may not be very comfortable in the initial days. But slowly and steadily, I might become adjusted to it. So on the basis of lifestyle, a marketeer can offer, when I say lifestyle, I mean, the basic approach of somebody or a group, how to lead a life. The third point says lifestyle is an integrated system of person, attitude, I told you, values, interests, opinions, and its overt behavior. What means is out behavior. I might be an adventurous, a man. So my lifestyle would be I will be riding a bike, I will be going to mountains, I will be doing scuba diving. So I will only, excuse me, I'll consume those products which help me in being more adventurous, or which will help me in pursuit of my adventurous activities. So that's why this lifestyle becomes an important factor as far as consumer behavior subject is concerned. Moving ahead, look at this. Now let's understand what are the factors. I have mentioned three factors over here: demographic, psychographic, and lifestyle. In lifestyle, we already mentioned. Now demography is something, it talks about the age, sex, education, occupation of an individual or a section of society or a group of individuals. Well, psychographic means something to do with your psyche, what you think. This AIO, I told you, activities, interest, and opinion. How you approach towards your work, towards your life, towards the society and the nation. So these three factors becomes important for a marketeer in order to understand the consumer mindset. If let's say if I'm a teenager, I might be liking a Duke motorcycle. But if I am 40, 45 plus man, or woman for that matter, I might go for a car. So I should be able to target those segment of market on the basis of these factors. Now, some products are completely made for youth. Now, those products cannot be given to somebody who is like 40 plus or 45 plus. If you start selling life insurance to youngsters, let's say who are still in college, I'm not sure how many would take that. But if you target life insurance to somebody who is a family and is 40, 45 plus, now who would be interested in that? He would be very, very much interested in that. So on the basis of this mindset, on the basis of the education and the thinking process and the way I move ahead towards my life, towards leading my day-to-day life, becomes important factors for a marketeer to understand, to unearth it, so that those segments should be targeted according to the product and services. I hope this is clear. We'll move. Characteristic of lifestyle, we understood. Lifestyle, the definition, it has got certain characteristics. It's a group phenomena. Now you see, in today's time, youth has a different way of dressing sense. Well, people who are working, they've got a different style. People who are who have retired, now their way of going about their life is completely different. So it is a group phenomenon. It pervades various aspects of life. But as they say, a nature, what you have from your childhood days, it lasts unless you don't put external or a conscious effort to change it. So it cuts across various age, various stages of life. And last point, according to sociological relevant variables, wherever I'm staying, my lifestyle becomes like that. Take an example of somebody who is staying in India and suddenly he goes to USA. Now the way he dresses in India, the way the things which he eat in India will be different from what he will be pursuing in America. Because the society, the external factor, the social factor is different in USA than in India. I've seen people who are, I belong to Bihar, Patna. People leaving Bihar and going to Goa. Now their lifestyle, the way they dress up, the way they talk, it changes. So social factor or society has an influence. So if somebody asks you what exactly is a lifestyle, we can answer this thing. Lifestyle is a collection of your activities, interests, opinion, values. And it may be an individual effort or a group phenomena. It is affected socially, it is affected by external factors, and it cut across, or it is prevalent across different stages of your life. So that becomes a characteristic of lifestyle. Moving ahead, influence, very, very important. I just told you. If I have certain way of living my life, I'll make purchases accordingly. Because that is the way how I pursue my lifestyle. The kind of music I listen, the food I eat, the way I talk to people, the way I interact, that all are part of my lifestyle. And if I'm an adventurous guy or a man, I would like to purchase those things which will portray me in that mode. I might buy, a Royal Enfield, buy leather jacket or gum boots because I have to go out. I'm an outdoor person. So this lifestyle has got a big influence on the purchasing behavior of people. Okay, we'll move. Now, what are the approaches? As you all know, consumer behavior has been heavily borrowed, or the word is interdisciplinary, heavily borrowed from different subjects like anthropology, psychology, sociology, economics. So what are the ways, what are the approaches available to study the lifestyle of an individual or a group of individuals? Now you see, AIO, we just spoke about VALS, value and lifestyle, PRISM approach, and finally the Robert Starch global lifestyle studies. Now out of these three are important: AIO, VLS and PRISM. Okay, because I cannot go all the time on the basis of my gut feel. Gut means intuition. There should be something empirical in approach to understand that why these individuals, so why this group of people behave in such fashion. And Bihar Chhath Puja is a very important festival. But that's not true for other states, maybe in UP. But the way we celebrate, we purchase things, it is not being done by somebody who's like who's a Maharashtrian or somebody like who's a Tamilian. So that becomes important. So we'll take these terms, accordingly, and we'll understand this. Look at this. AIO stands for activities, interest, and opinion. It gives me an idea also in terms of lifestyle. No, there are people who are, look at the word, heavy, medium, and light users. I might be adventurous, but I go only once a year to do some adventure. That become I'm a light user of adventure gear or clothes or attire. But somebody who's in this business, maybe let's say I'm a scuba diving instructor, or I'm a trekker. Trekker means somebody like who climbs mountains. So I'm like around the year I am out. I'm doing some external adventurous thing. So that becomes a heavy user of those adventurous gear and services and products. So on the basis of that, if you go to the base camp of Mount Everest in Nepal, now there are shops which are into selling some serious mountaineering gadgets and equipments, because there are people who are very much serious in mountaineering, they go over there. But somebody like who goes once in a while, he can purchase certain things even from a small city or town where he stays. So it becomes important that this individual or this group of individual are heavy user, medium, or light user. Take an example of somebody like who is a part of bikers gang, maybe Harley Davidson, the cult bike from America, or maybe Royal Enfield. Now they go on trip every month on bike. So they become, let's say, a medium or a heavy user. Now if they are going, they would be getting depreciation and wear and tear in their bike, in their clothes. So they need to change it regularly. So being a marketer, I should be knowing it. So it should be very, very important that if I understand, if I know the activities they pursue, what interest they have got, and what are the opinions. I'm a kind of person who will not buy something where child labor is employed. I'm very much clear that I should not be making any purchase where company employs child as laborers. So that's my thinking. That's my way of approach. So this AIO, activities, interest, and opinion, hold a lot of importance for a marketer in order to target them, in order to position my product and services to. We'll move. Now, I just spoke about, this is the system given by Arnold Mitchell, values and lifestyle. Now it has got like 6 components if you see. Demographic, we already know. Attitude, your approach towards certain things. Activities, the things which I am involved into. Maybe I'm a sports, maybe in my office work. Consumption patterns, again we spoke about the heavy user, light user, medium user. Brand preferences. Now there are people like who are very brand conscious. They will wear only stuff or use only stuff made by a particular company, made by a brand. I will not go for a generic product. Generic means a general product which doesn't have a name. This is also used in this values and lifestyle developed by Arnold Mitchell. And finally, media graphic, how a company portray itself in terms of advertising, in terms of brand image, in terms of brand positioning. If a company portrays itself that it is conscious of the environment and does not tarnishes, it doesn't tarnish the environment. And if I'm an environment lover, I'll go for that brand. So this also becomes these six factors becomes the important ingredients of these values and lifestyle developed by Arnold Michel. And the work on this has also led for the development of VLS2. So this, we spoke about AIO, which gives me an idea as far as the marketeer is concerned. VLS also talks about the six ingredients, which is important of this. And this has led, VLS has led to development to the identification of four major groups, as you can see on this on your screen. The poor and uneducated, which is termed as the need-driven. The second is outer-directed, the middle or upper income class. Inner-directed people who are motivated more by inner needs. And the fourth segment called integrated represents individuals who have combined all these, the outer and the inner values. So if a marketeer understands these things, the AIO and the VALs, trust me, he will be able to identify the segment of the society and will be able to sell his product and services. I hope this is clear. Moving ahead. Application of lifestyle marketing. By this time, we must be, you should be knowing it, that where we can use this thing. The most important is to identify my target, the people or the group of people which are having a particular lifestyle, so that I can position my product, I can advertise. Take an example. Now today's individuals, I don't know how many of them prefer to read newspaper. When I say newspaper, I mean the hard copy of newspaper. Because every newspaper company has got a mobile app and people are hooked to mobile, especially the youngsters, their smartphones. So I need to understand that if I need to talk about, if I need to advertise my product so that I can target a youth, will newspaper or TV would be the right medium? Or maybe digital marketing would be more appropriate, more apt. So it gives me an idea, if I understand the lifestyle, that which kind of product they want, how to target them, how to promote my product. So this lifestyle can be used or can be understood by a marketeer in order to understand or feel the pulse of market, feel the section of the society, their behavior, their interests, activities, lifestyles, and on these basis, a marketeer can target the target group in a better way. Finally, to summarize this unit 2, here we spoke about, look, why it is said consumer behavior is still a young discipline. It is because the subject marketing or management per se in itself is not very old. And when I say not very old, I'm talking about the structured way of understanding. So it is still young. People are, or marketeer are trying to understand the psyche of the market. I told you in the beginning that only 50% of or 60% of the mind has been understood by the scientists and by the doctors. There are certain factors by which a marketeer tries to gauge or try to evaluate the behavior of an individual or the group of individual, which we discuss in this thing with AIO, VALS, PRISM test. So these tools help a marketeer to understand the lifestyle of an individual or the group of individuals, so that they can be targeted in a better and efficient manner. So with this, we have come to the end of Unit 2. In this bit, we'll move ahead to Unit 3. So let's begin. Here we are talking about organizational buying behavior. Remember, so far in the first we understood about the consumer and its nature, its scope and its usage. In the second unit we spoke about lifestyle, and here in the second unit we are more concerned about an individual or a group of individuals. But Unit 3 will talk about organization. For an example, your college plans to buy, let's say, 100 computers, 100 laptops for you people. Now, who is buying? Your college. Now, college is not an individual. College is an organization which has got group of individuals. They have come together for certain objectives. So in this unit, we'll talk about organizational buying behavior, how an organization go ahead in making a purchase. So once we finish up this thing, we'll understand these certain things. We'll talk about organization buying purchase, the pattern, and the relationship. And this is a structure. We'll start with the introduction part. Look at this. As I said, organizational buying behavior, OBB, is different from consumer buying behavior. Organizational buying behavior is more complex because there are people who are involved. There are processes. For an individual, I have to make a call if I want to purchase something. But if I want an organization to make a purchase, there are people who would be involved. Maybe, the first somebody from IT department would like to purchase 100 laptops. Now they will give the description to the finance department. Finance department will approve it. Then it will go to the CEO, and so hence and so forth. So we'll understand this thing. Look at this. What is organizational buying behavior? Two gentlemen, Webster and Wynne, they defined how an organization makes a purchase or usage and disposes. That is known as organizational buying behavior. Okay. Here we spoke initially in first two units, we spoke about individual. Now here we'll talk about the organization. The process, the way they go ahead while making the purchase, while making the usage, and also the disposal. And finally, their relationship, the interrelationship with the other firms. I have to buy, let's say, 100 laptops. So I don't manufacture. I might approach somebody who is into this business, maybe Dell, maybe Apple, or HP. So the relationship, what one organization has with another organization, that is also studied in this organizational buying behavior. Moving ahead, look at this. I told you, multi-person buying activity. And it has to follow certain rules and regulation. And it has got a rational orientation. I like something. So being an individual, I don't mind making a purchase on the basis of my emotional motive. But if an organization is there, there are people who would be of different views, different motives. Maybe organization would like to purchase things which are economical. So if you see, the fourth point is rational but also emotional activity. Why emotional activity? I want to purchase something from, let's say, from an NGO or a group which works for environment or for the upliftment of poor. Because I can connect with the ideology of that group. And the last is uniqueness of organization. Every organization is unique in its own way in terms of product, in terms of services. So one rule suits all, fits all, cannot be the trend over here. So if I am into, let's say, automobile industry, I'll have my own requirement. If I am into hospitality industry, I will have my own requirement. So it depends upon the uniqueness also. So it is a multi-person buying process. It has got different layers. It is both rational as well as emotional activity. And there is a difference between placing the order and getting the order. That is time lag between efforts and results. I want to purchase the jeans. I went to the market and buy it. But if I have to buy, let's say, 100 laptops, so you need to place the order, you make the payment, and there would be certain time lag before I receive those laptops, which is not part of an individual or a consumer buying behavior buying process. So if somebody asks you the difference between organizational buying behavior and consumer buying behavior, you can quote these 5 points. Moving ahead. Now, who are the organizational customer? I have got this thing just for an example's sake. Here, like, you have got Indian private companies, as well as PSUs, public sector units. You can see Coal India, Hindustan Copper. If I talk about private Tata Steel, now they are the purchaser and they buy in bulk. If I talk about Tata Motors, but Tata Motors, is into manufacturing vehicles. From where they get the machine, the steel. Maybe they purchase from Tata Steel. From where they get the engines? Maybe from different body, different organization. So organizational customers or consumers are those who are into business of buying in bulk. We have got some examples for you, which I think is clear enough. Now, what influences organizational buying behavior? There, individually spoke about 4 factors. We spoke about cultural, social, remember, psychographic, and others as well. Here also there are factors which play important part, and the most important is environmental factor. When I say environmental factor, I talk about the surrounding in which that organization is working. You remember Pestle? We spoke about political, economical, technical, legal. All these factors will play a role. Now, if I talk about organizational factors, we talk about interpersonal factors and individual factors. How interpersonal factors? There are companies which are into different business, but they supplement each other's need. I give you an example of Tata Motor and Tata Steel. Let's forget about Tata Steel. If Tata Motors want to purchase from Tata Steel doesn't have that kind of material specification. Now that material of certain specification, maybe Tata Motor will approach JSW, Jindal, or SAIL. Now it depends upon their equation. When I talk about equation, I talk about the quality of steel, I talk about the price, the delivery date. So these also play a role. And finally, the individual factors. Look, organization, here we're talking about organization buying behavior, but organization in literal sense, they don't, organization don't take a decision. It's people, it's individual working in an organization, they take the decision. Maybe some finance manager, maybe some CEO, but he's an individual. He's a human being. He's not an organization. Though they make organization, but they only take the decision. So if I am, let's say, the CEO, and I have got my personal interest in purchasing steel from Jindal Steel Works because I believe that Jindal Steel is better than Tata Steel for whatsoever reason. So I have to take a call. So even this factor, first of all, we understood the external factor. The second is organizational factor. Organizational factor may we have got interpersonal relationship, interpersonal factors between different organizations, different companies, and third is the individual factors. Okay. Moving ahead. Now look at this organization buying behavior. If you see this model, I think it's self-explanatory and it will be quite clear how an organization go about making a purchase. First thing first, marketing stimuli. We understand about the four P's given in McCarthy. So, along with this four P's, there are other stimuli. Stimuli is a plural of stimulus, which trigger your motive. That is economical, technological, political, and culture. Now, these factors, these are the stimuli which acts on, or which has an impact or gets together with the characteristic of a buyer. That is cultural, social, personal, and psychological. And these factors, they play. You remember the process: buyer, decision process, problem recognition, information search, and finally you make a buying decision on the basis of product choice, brand choice, dealer, purchasing time, and purchase amount. So first thing first, there are certain stimuli along with the four P's. There are other stimuli which act together with the buyer characteristic. It can be your individual, it can be organization. Here in this case, we are talking about organizational buying purchase, buying behavior. And this plays a role in the buying decision, which is a 5-step process. And then you make a purchase on the basis of which type of product you want, a brand, maybe a dealer, which gives you a more credit period, or the timing, which is important for you, because that's the high time for your purchase, and also the kind of amount or money they are charging. So this is a model an organization how an organization makes a purchase. It started with stimuli which triggers the purchase intention and comes with or gets together with the characteristic of the buyer, and then the process, that is purchasing process, starts, and then the purchasing is done on the certain parameters which we just spoke about. The last one, product choice, brand choice, and so on and so forth. I hope this is clear. We'll move ahead. Look at this. Recent development. Tomorrow, if somebody can ask you this question, fine, we understood about the consumer behavior. But now tell me, what consumer behavior was in 1960s or 70s? Is it the same in 2022 or 2023? Obviously, we'll say no, because change is the only constant thing. Even consumer behavior has changed. So what are those changes? Please explain, or write down the recent changes in consumer behavior and the factors which has led to the change. The first thing first, if you see the usage, the rampant development of or evolution of technology, especially the internet, www. That has completely revolutionized the way how a consumer thinks, how a marketeer approaches in order to sell the product and services. And this, the most important thing is, if I talk about internet and technology, the most important thing is AI, that is artificial intelligence. Take an example. If you are searching, an e-commerce site, and you have selected, let's say, a pair of jeans. Now, once you see that, you feel it was fair enough. Now I'll make a purchase or decide in the night. And you leave that site and you got engrossed in your other work. Now, this is my experience that whatever you do, if you are available online, if you're checking your mail or your Facebook account, there would be ad popping up of the same jeans what you saw it wherever you go on whatever site or whichever site you are on. That becomes a very integral part of artificial intelligence. Shall we talk about Web 3.0? where they track you, they stalk you, so that they're saying in marketing, out of sight, out of mind, that you should not be forgetting about them. Now, if you see this thing, the second point, this IT, this internet and technology has helped the company also to see the inventory, to have an inventory management system in place. This technology gives me an idea, the kind of a stock I'm having, or the stock which I should reorder. Because humanly it's not possible to go and count. But because of this technology, you can figure out your stock, your reordering stock point, and your inventory. So this recent development, that is the evolution of technology, especially internet, has completely revolutionized this entire process of consumer behavior. You name any segment. You go to a supermarket and you go to a clothes showroom. The moment you enter the showroom, and if you see something nice, something good as per your liking, your pupil dilates. The pupil means the eyes. Now there are cameras which will figure out that this thing has got your attention, and accordingly the sales boy or the salesman will behave. So the technology has completely changed the dynamics of this consumer behavior in the market. So if I have to summarize this thing, I would rather say that organizational buying behavior is different from consumer buying behavior because of its complex nature. As you all know, there are people who are involved. It is not like an individual making a purchase. There are a layer of people. So they have to come together and unanimously they have to take the decision. Now there are a variety of influences. We spoke about the external factors. We spoke about the organizational factors. In external factors, we spoke about the pestle, political, economical, social, technological, and legal. In organizational factor, we spoke about the interpersonal thing, inter-organizational thing, and also individual factors. Now, the most important thing is, once you make a purchase, even in the case of organization, if they make a purchase, they evaluate the post-purchase behavior will give them the sense that the purchase was judicious in nature or not. So they will take their time in order to understand or in order to give or repeat purchase order. For an example, in an individual, if I buying a pair of jeans and I like that pair of jeans, next time I will simply go and buy it because now I have got my trust. But in organization buying behavior, it so happens, even though I'm happy with it, but if there is some other dealer which is giving me a product, maybe at a lower cost,
regression.
or a good quality product, a better quality product, so I might hesitate. Being an organization, I might hesitate to order from the same vendor. I might try to check a new vendor. So these are the certain factors which makes an organization buying behavior difficult or complex when I compare with an individual buying behavior. So with this, we have come to the end of this unit and block number 1. Today we'll talk about block number 2. And I'm pretty sure it has given you a fair idea of this subject called consumer behavior, individual buying behavior, and organizational buying behavior. Thank you so much. Wish you a great day ahead. Namaste.